Got it. Hi, everybody. It is the Dead Air Horror Review Show.
Yeah, it is.
I am TJ. That is Chris. We are here. We watched No One Will Save You, a Hulu original. And I'd like to start the show off, if I could, by illustrating my feelings with a audio-visual gag, if I could.
Yeah, do it. I don't think this is unprecedented. Okay, we have a acoustic guitar.
Also,
Hold out a pick.
I realized that you and I have very similar style acoustic guitars on your
Oh
wall.
yeah,
We
we
both
do.
have like
Look
the
at that.
Kingsman style. Anyway,
Nice.
so this is how I describe. I already forgot the title of the movie. No One Will Save You. With my guitar. All right, everybody ready? It was one note. I played one note,
I
and
get
that's
it.
what this fucking movie is. It's fucking one goddamn note. For an hour and a half, it is one fucking note. And I just to jump right into it. I've never seen a movie that is so like 5-minute short film into 90-minute feature in my entire life.
Yeah, it
Like
was
this,
painfully long.
and it's
And
not that long. It's like an hour and a half. It's not that long at all. And
no,
it's
it
like,
felt painfully
oh
long
my
just
God.
because it kept it was
I
stretched out so far. And in the so I me personally, I love to dig into the background of
Sure,
movies.
me too. Yeah, we all do.
And found out that this was made on a budget of $28 million.
Where did they spend the money?
Well, I think part of that, I'm guessing, this is my guess, was to they made it an hour and a half to justify the cost
Oh
because
my God.
really, okay, well, you really didn't have any big names
No,
in this
I don't
movie.
know
I don't think
any.
there was a single
They're
one.
not even big. Like you had. I mean, I don't know any of the actors in this movie, like
So
at
the
all.
cost is going to where? Visual effects, because
They aren't good either. Like,
it looked like that movie. What is it? The bird one, the
oh, the Birdemic.
birdemic. Yeah,
Yeah, the effects were not good.
yeah.
Like, um,
It was a boner killer. This one
I
was.
yeah. So is this just a tax shelter movie? Did somebody like did they
Yeah.
make this movie for $1 million and somebody
It
pocketed
it was
27
apparently
million?
like the most. I think the day it came out, the most streamed horror film that day, and then like that weekend, it was like the third most. But
Yeah.
I didn't even hear any hype around
Oh,
this.
I did. That's
You
why I
did?
recommend. Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
okay.
It got the TikTok hype, which I don't know when I'm gonna learn to just block that out.
They're all liars.
Well, here's
We're
the thing,
not.
right?
We're truth
You could
tellers.
you could literally watch this movie. You could watch the first 20 minutes of this movie and then turn it off because you don't gain anything from watching the rest of the movie. It's the same like as soon as the alien invasion happens, that is basically just one extended scene till the end of the film.
You know what's the knife in the chest of any horror film is when you laugh,
Oh
and the
yeah.
laugh is unintentional. Like it's like you're not supposed to be laughing
Oh
at
yeah.
this horror
Yeah.
movie, but it's so ridiculous that you just can't help yourself. There
Oh yeah.
was the aliens in this movie look like your
I
stereotypical aliens. They couldn't even do anything
thank
original with
thank
that.
God, thank you for saying this because and also I cannot be scared. I can't make myself be scared of the fucking big black-eyed gray aliens, the
Uh,
classic gray
no.
Roswell. Anything, if anything, I see one of those aliens and I just want it to like smoke weed on a t-shirt. That's like all I associate those things with. They are not scary, and no amount of like weird fucking like alien yoga that they
Yeah.
do is gonna make them scary. I'm sorry. That is
But
not an
how
intimidating
they
thing.
I don't know, you can't really see my hand. Oh, how they like this is what their feet look like. They were
Yeah,
like on the tips of their toes, just kind of scuttlebugging around,
that
and
it's not scary. They're not scary.
they
And
were
and
cartoon caricatures. They were ridiculous.
and then the thing so we should say again, this movie, we're not doing a synopsis because this movie is literally
Doesn't
girl
deserve it.
girl doesn't talk, girl is isolated from town, girl is in the middle of an alien invasion in her house, and that's the whole fucking movie. That's it. That's literally the entire fucking movie. The thing I see people defend this stupid ass movie for is they like the fact that it shows and again, not my words, because I feel like it is tacked on as all get out, but they enjoyed the fact that how it shows isolation and how it shows alienation, clearly a pun that they're a clear metaphor that they're going
Ugh.
for. But this girl is, she lives by herself. She doesn't talk to people in town. Nobody wants to have anything to do with her because she's
But
a
she's not a
pariah.
mute. She just
No,
does.
I,
Yeah, she's just
I,
isolated.
I fucking hate it. I hated it. I hate the choice to not use any dialogue. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it would made the movie incredibly boring. And
Yeah.
I thought that the fucking stupid amen moment this movie thinks it's trying to build up to, when like the only thing she says is basically I'm sorry, is so not earned and so stupid. And I'm like, it's just like it's so cornily manipulating. Like it's not clever. And like I'll give you an example of a movie. Like movies can use no dialogue and it works. Like I really like, one of my favorite fucking movies is Mad Max Fury Road. There is almost no
Mm.
dialogue in like the first 15-20 minutes of that movie, and it's fine. There Will Be Blood, another example of like a pretty sizable time before anybody really starts talking. Another great example is a movie called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, a Chan Woo Park movie. And that movie, the reason that there's no dialogue is because the protagonist is deaf. And it's brilliant when you finally realize that. And that plays into, like, that movie is about a kid getting murdered, and it plays in, his deafness plays into that scene, because basically this kid dies behind him through his negligence, and he can't hear her, so it
Mm.
makes sense. Like this movie, it's just like, let's make it fucking, let's give this character, like, it feels like they're just trying to give this character something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it just doesn't hit. And I joked with somebody that was defending this movie, and they're like, "Well, I like the choice of no dialogue." It's like, well, it makes the script really easy to write, because it's just like,
Yeah, I guarantee people are gonna hail the director or the writer
I
as
believe
a
that's the
new
same
age
person.
genius,
Yeah, no, this is
for
trash.
being able to pull off a feature film without dialogue.
I would argue that they don't. I
You
just,
think it's lazy?
I think it's super lazy. And I think
Yeah.
that the fact that the storyline has not, like, okay, it'd be one thing. Again, I just gave you several examples of films that use this similar technique, but it's for a reason, right? I would argue that the reason that it's used in Mad Max is the same reason that it's trying to be used in this. Like, Max has been alone for who knows how long. He doesn't go around people, and like, humanity doesn't get along in Mad Max. Everybody's a fucking cannibal and a murderer, so that makes sense. In this film, what is the ultimate purpose of her not speaking? Like, what does it do? And
Yeah.
again, like, the story doesn't lead you to any reason why she's not speaking, other than the fact that, again, it's just like hammering the fact that she's isolated and alienated from her community. But
You
again,
could
like,
make the argument that she didn't talk for a good portion of the film because she was just by herself.
right, exactly. And it doesn't, and the things that do come, like, why is she gonna talk to the alien? Like,
Yeah.
I just and I feel like, but again, the plot doesn't elevate anything like, I mean, again, the plot is like such a straight line that there's no like ebbs and flows. There's nothing that like gets you to like I was really waiting for this movie to get to a point where it was going to be like, oh, that's why they did this, and you
Yeah.
never get there. And again, like, it thinks by explaining that, like, she was responsible for her friend's death, which, by the way, is like, again, just like very, just like, well, we got to give her some kind of motivation. Like, it just seems so like phoned in. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
she killed her friend, they got an argument, and she fucking bashed her in the face with a rock, like, as friends do.
Yeah, I think
Like,
didn't her mom died or
her
someone
mom died. Her
mom
mom
died
died. You don't know why her or how her mom died, but her
yeah
mom died. But the real thing was that she killed her best friend in an argument.
when they were like very young, like
Yeah, they were
kids.
like, yeah, kids.
So
But again, like,
accidental,
why do I care?
presumably.
I don't care.
But the thing is, so in the end of the movie, it shows this the main protagonist, I forgot her name.
I
Um,
yeah. Well, how would you
Bryn.
remember?
Bryn is
How
her
would?
name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She she's like at the end of the movie, she's living a happy life after having like escaped these
Well, yeah,
aliens trying
yeah.
to, beam her up.
But
And
then, yeah,
they took pity on her
the aliens
because
did. Yes.
she's psychically probed by these aliens, and they're like, oh, she had kind of a rough upbringing. You know what, we're going to spare her
Yeah. What
despite
the?
the fact that she murdered two of their alien friends.
Yeah, yeah.
um Obviously it's an alien movie, it's nonsensical, you have to suspend your disbelief, but Jesus Christ, come on. Like, aliens are going to take pity on this girl because
And
she
like,
killed her friend? Like,
and
it
like,
doesn't make any sense.
what
It
was the?
hurts. It
What
hurts.
was?
It
What
pains me
was?
to think about how this all came about.
Well, I feel like I swear it feels like a dumb guy thinking he came up with this like brilliant twist. Like, yeah, like when she's living a better life, and like she's dancing with all the guy that like ignored her in the beginning and blah blah, and then they pan up and there's literal fucking flying saucers in the air. Like I feel like it's like somebody who's supposed to be like, wow, she's still in the simulation or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, bro. Like, of course. Like I like I'm not 4 years old. Like how would you like but again, like you said, what is the point of that? And like why do I care? Why like I I know that like alien invasion stuff and like the whole like aliens will come and like snatch you in the middle of the night and give you the anal probe. That was very popular when we were coming up as kids. Like that was like a big thing. My personal theory is that like alien crap kind of died because everybody has a fucking video camera in their hands nowadays. So like you'd see it by now. I know
Yeah.
there's people that still believe in that crap, but like I mean like I don't, I'm sure you remember, and if you're a fucking boomer like me and Chris, like you remember there used to be like hysteria around that shit. Like
Yeah.
I remember there was a whole Time Life series. I used to fucking get them from the library of like paranormal activity. That's where like the X-Files came from and shit like that. It was a very big thing. And I
Yeah.
feel like while it's still around, it's not the juggernaut that it used to be. But my point is, I like usually I get off topic. I know that alien motivation is always kind of like spurious, like but like in this one, it's like what like I again there needs to be something that happens with these aliens or some reason that they give us or you infer that elevates this story to something because basically aliens show up for reasons.
Yeah.
Girl fights back. Aliens have the means to possess people because that's something that happens in this movie too for some reason. Because
And
again,
apparently,
like they're padding out the time.
the noises that are emitted from aliens are pig noises,
Yeah,
pig
yeah,
snorts,
yeah.
which,
Which is great.
yeah, love that.
And then she gets the aliens possess people. They finally get her because I guess like at some point it's kind of like revenge because she killed the one alien. Also, hilariously, you talk about laughing at moments that are unintentionally funny. Her means of covering up the alien's body by just throwing a rug over it and walking
Yeah.
away. I was like, what the fuck? Like who
With the
does
legs
that?
still sticking out.
It's literally just like, here you go. Like it's like yeah, like what the fuck?
It wasn't even necessary to cover it. It didn't even look that gruesome.
Also, she's in her own house. Why is she covering it at all? Like, what is
Yeah.
she scared somebody's gonna walk in? No, she doesn't live with anybody. Like,
Is
um,
there any way this could have been made better, in your
yeah,
opinion?
completely rewritten. Like,
Boom.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. You could make a cool like alien invasion movie, and if you wanted to make it more like, forgive the fucking pun, but if you're trying to make it more like grounded, like I kind of like that, like a street level alien invasion film, like that's kind of cool. But
Where,
like,
sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. Go
Where
ahead.
do aliens fall on your list of scary monsters?
Low.
Low,
Well, do
right?
we mean
Yeah.
like aliens like in this kind of context or like aliens in like sci-fi movies? Like the Alien
Uh,
and Aliens
if
is
we're
pretty
talking
high.
about the horror genre, like,
I would. I mean, I feel like the Xenomorph, from like the Alien franchise, that's
yeah,
pretty high. That's a pretty. I personally think that that's like one of the greatest like monster designs like
yeah,
ever. Like I think the Xenomorph is incredible. Predator too. Predator also is
yeah.
an
That's a
alien.
yeah,
And those two movies are classic. Like I mean, some of the Alien movies are good, but like some of the Predator movies are good. But those are classics. As far as like, I mean, I really like if you think about it, aside from those two movies, like Aliens as like a foil kind of died in the 50s and 60s. Like think about it, like all those old sci-fi movies were all about like aliens and stuff, but then like
yeah.
Aliens kind of moved into just like straight sci-fi. There's not a lot of and I'm sure once I get off the air, I'll think of like 50 fucking horror movies with
Maybe
aliens in
something
it.
like you can't really see, like Scanners or something to
Yeah.
that
Or
effect.
there's a movie that I don't think it's like the greatest movie, but I think it's like pretty good. There's a movie called Life. Did you ever see that?
No,
So that's a movie where they're on like a space station and they get this like invasive life form that like it keeps evolving and it's killing them. And at first it's like again, it's like basically like a murder amoeba. So it doesn't have like normal characteristics. And I think that's like really interesting. And then unfortunately, like almost at the end of the movie, the thing develops a face, and I'm like, come on. Like you were so close. And like the
like a
movie's
human face.
it like looks at one of the people before it dies. I was like, well, that's kind of you kind of defeated it was kind of cool that it's just like this like life it's like this life force that you can't relate to because
Yeah,
as soon as you give it a face, it's like it's still a pretty good movie. I actually think it's
Life.
pretty
I've never heard of that. Is that
it's it
somewhat
came in
recent?
like 4 or 5 years ago. It came and went. It's a very like I thought it's a solid movie. It's not like amazing, but it's a pretty good movie.
It
It's got
has
Jake.
Jake Gyllenhaal
Yeah,
and Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds.
yeah. It's pretty
All right, a
good.
couple of hunks.
I would check it out.
All right.
But that movie did a good job with like I mean last week we talked a little bit about like cosmic horror, and I always like the idea of like characters fighting things beyond their comprehension,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's another place where this movie stumbles. I mean, you said it right off the jump. The design of like those gray aliens are just not scary, and not only are they not scary, it's something that we've seen for 50 fucking years. Like I've seen
Yeah.
that stupid gray alien design forever, and like it's like a trope at this
Yeah.
point. Like give me something else. Like I don't care what you make them look like, but like do something else besides the fucking gray aliens. And I know that this movie thinks that it does more with that design because it makes them like elongated and weird.
Yeah.
And again, like for some reason, like whoever made this, they think that like the thing, like that one part in the movie where he's literally just like standing in this weird pose, like that's scary somehow.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why, but like they didn't
And
like that again, like that design is just boring. And as soon as you see that design, like you just kind of check out. Like it's just like,
and
you
we're
know what I
supposed
mean?
to believe that these superior life forms that can seemingly go from galaxy to different dimensions and what
Oh
have
yeah.
you can't look under the bed to see if
Yeah.
someone is hiding.
Also creatures that are psychically in tune somehow. Like
Oh,
they
right.
explain later on that they can, or they don't explain anything, but they show you that they can like go inside people's minds. So they're not only technologically advanced, they are on some kind of like psychic dimension. Like they are far beyond us in so many ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just also I mean, I know this is a dumb thing to say, but like these things can go through interdimensional travel and all this stuff, but they just show up to Earth like naked, like they wouldn't be wearing like armor or some kind of suit. Like I know they
Yeah.
obviously they don't have to wear like a suit and tie or like combat armor, but they are naked. They are just gray naked aliens. Like that's stupid, right? Like that
Yeah.
like that's just like something you'd think of in like wait a minute, why are they just kind of walking around? And I know why they're walking around like that, because that's the thing we've grown up with. That's something that
Yeah.
somebody came up
It's
with
familiar.
and they never thought about it after that, and they're just like fuck it.
Yeah.
and let's draw it smoking weed at an ICP show. Like that's again, if there was a fucking cutscene where this alien was just doing big bong rips, I would fucking love it. I don't know what it is about gray aliens. I think like I went to way too many county fairs as a kid, but I always think of those things smoking weed. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
these
and
aliens
also
take the moral high ground. They
this is
don't
how
do
you smoke
drugs.
weed, by the way, Chris. Smoke weed.
Is that how you always smoke weed?
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah,
you were taught?
no wonder everybody had such a good time when we smoked weed. Um, but yeah, like
Yo, you got to invite your friend TJ over again.
yeah, he smokes the best weed. Um, uh, but like I struggle to even think of other things to talk about with this fucking movie, man. Like
Yeah.
again, like it's not like particularly like visually interesting. I can't remember, like it's not like there's a lot of music that I remember. I mean, the performances are fine. Again, they're barely there. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't blame the lead actress. I mean, again, she's not really given much to do besides look pensive, look scared, run. Like
Yeah.
and again, like everything that they add to this, everything that comes into this movie is something you've seen in 50 other movies. So the aliens come down and there's a big blue light, and literally the alien fucking ship is just the fucking flying again from like the fucking Roswell 50s, you know. You've seen that. You've seen the fucking blue tractor beam. You've seen the fucking invasion of the body snatcher stuff. Hell, even the fucking like little parasite thing that they put in their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen that before. Like there is nothing new. And ultimately the you're living in a simulation. That is fucking, how many times have we seen that? I mean,
Yeah.
the Matrix exists. I don't know if you've heard of that film. Pretty popular little indie film, The Matrix.
That might be the first film you've mentioned that I've
You
actually
never heard of
seen.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little indie darling. You might want to check it out.
Is that an
But like,
A24?
yeah, oh, The Matrix is A24. This is The Matrix. That's an interesting concept. Um, but like, right? Like, I don't like. Where is the? I mean, I'm not saying that every movie has to be like wholly original. Like, Lord knows that I like stuff that is derivative. I mean, a lot of people fucking shit on Midsummer. It's one of my favorite movies in like recent memory, but it is derivative of the Wicker Man. But I think in like a good
No.
way. Like I
Yeah.
think like there's a difference between being derivative and taking influence by, you know what I mean? At least to
Yeah.
me. Like and this movie, it's like what do you got? You know what I mean? Like I can't think of anything else but the fucking elevator pitch for this movie, where it's like, what did they say to get people to back this? It's like,
I mean,
hey, I got this alien invasion movie where this girl gets home invaded by an alien. Okay, what else happens? Well, that's the beauty part. Nothing happens. Like I don't. This is like
the
a fucking Michael Haneke movie where it's like, is the point that nothing happens? Like I
yeah.
don't. Is this like a art film that I don't understand? Like, oh, you don't get it. The point is nothing happens. Like this movie made me feel actively stupider, which is impressive because I already feel pretty dumb.
I mean, the director's like laughing all the way to the bank. He wrote this on spec back in 2019 and sold it to 20th Century Fox 2 years later with his
And
name
they,
attached to direct. So there
yeah,
was like, it was just, there was
that's
really nothing.
insane,
It's absolutely
insane,
nuts. And that
insane.
just
But then
goes to
again,
show you
but it,
how much like the times have changed. Like,
but it also shows you how much faith the studio had in this movie that it gets dumped directly to Hulu.
yeah,
Like this movie would have taken a bath if they put it in the theaters. Like no one would
yeah,
have saw
that's true. That's true. And it was, I mean, you will believe this because it was pretty hokey, the movie itself, but it was released internationally on Disney Plus.
Oh, a lot of stuff that goes on Hulu is released internationally
Yeah.
through Disney Plus. Because
Yeah.
I think not all I don't know this for a fact, but I think that not all regions have Hulu, but like more
Right.
regions have Disney Plus, something to that effect. And I think they're at least partially they're all owned by Disney to a
Yeah.
certain
Disney
extent.
owns everything.
Yeah,
They are
yeah, well,
the
yeah.
overlords of the
It's
media
disgusting.
world.
But I mean,
But
like, I can't even think like even in bad movies, I can think of like memorable things, and this movie just fades away. Like I watched this Christ, I watched this 2 days ago, and I was like, I honestly was a little worried. I was like, what are we even going to talk about? Like,
You
uh,
know, this review that I just found on Wikipedia kind of sums up the movie as a whole. The comment is as generic as the movie, but it's a perfect summation of what we've been talking about.
yes,
Quote, a home invasion thriller with an extraterrestrial twist. No One Will Save You serves up more genre fun from writer-director Brian Duffield. Improves Caitlin Dever, the lead actress, doesn't need much dialogue to command the screen.
is that right? That
That's
that sounds like it was
that
written by an AI. Also, what does the title refer to? The title means nothing.
No One Will Save. I guess she's on her own. No one's gonna save her.
But like it again, like I guess that's her going to the fucking cops and then the lady spitting on her, which again,
Yeah,
like I and the other thing is, what's funny, Chris? I didn't even put this together, but you're absolutely right. Like I didn't think about this while I was watching the movie, but I didn't realize there was a significant time jump when she murdered her best friend to when she's an adult.
yeah,
And I think like maybe I'm naive, but like I think it's kind of ridiculous that like she's been a pariah for like I don't know, probably a decade and no one just
right.
talks to her. Like I get it, like she did something horrible, but like well, one move, right? And two, or two, like I get it, but like people, and not to say that people don't hold grudges in small towns, but like the fact that they're just like they completely ostracize her when she was a child and she made a mistake seems a little unrealistic to me. Maybe I'm naive, I don't know.
And the when she spit in Bryn's face, um, she
And
was right next to her husband.
that was the mother
Yeah, the
presumably of
mother
the
of the
friend,
girl that
which
was killed by Bryn.
yeah,
She spit in her face at the police station next to her husband, who's like a police chief,
yeah.
and he just kind of did the shrug, like,
Yeah. Murder. He did the
"What do you
fucking.
expect me to
He
do?"
did the fucking Kevin James meme that's been going around. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah, that
it's again like just this movie is like a premise that struggles for meaning. Like, it's a premise, a two-sentence premise that the whole movie is like trying to. Well, this happened. Like they're trying to make you care about this movie, and it just does not work.
yeah.
I'd like to take a second to my letterbox review. Was my all my letterbox reviews are snarky, and they're always like one or two sentences.
Love snark.
My review for this was no one should watch this movie, but I'd like to amend that. I think I thought of a better one while waiting to record this. Close Encounters of the Board kind.
Or how about No One Will Save You from this dumpster fire of a film?
Fucking Christ. I mean, that is just it. Like, I really don't see what people see in this fucking, like, I don't know how, it's funny, right? Because we talked, and even last week, we watched more of a slow burn movie that you didn't quite, pick up on, or not pick up on, but it wasn't it
What, because
wasn't
I'm
something
too stupid, TJ? I'm
I
too
didn't,
slow? I
no,
can't figure out movies? Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
you're
I
fucking
can't.
stupid, but no, it wasn't something, not that you didn't pick, it's something you
I
didn't
know,
vibe,
I know, I know.
something you didn't vibe with. You know what I mean? You didn't
Yeah,
vibe with the pacing, and I like a lot of slower stuff. I'm fine with it. But like I would say on a whole, like normies, that's one thing that usually just checks them the fuck out.
yeah,
And I can't understand how anybody would attach themselves to this because again, there is there is nothing. There's no like I know I opened with this, but it's the same. And maybe this is exact. The movie and this podcast are exactly the same because I started one way and I'm still the same way. There is the alien invasion scene, and that is the whole movie.
yeah,
There's no like in a normal movie, there would be the alien invasion scene where the action happens where she kills the alien. Then she, there's some kind of conflict after that, right? Like she like basically maybe she has to hide the alien or the aliens are looking for her, and there's something. I don't, again, like I give me 10 minutes and I'll write something. But like there needs to be more things and not just mute girl runs from alien
yeah,
catches her, alien reveals her backstory, and then she dances Finn. Like I just don't, I don't know.
yeah. I think you well, I'm wondering, okay, so hypothetical.
Yes.
If they said if 20th Century Fox approached you and said, TJ, we have this film, this
Joanna Man
guy.
2. Yes, I would.
We want you to do the next 5 sequels of Joanna Man
If you don't know
trilogy.
what that is, don't look it up because
Um,
it's problematic to say the least.
so, but we want to attach you as the director. We'll pay you $1 million.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you got me at $1 million, 30 grand. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Anything
Direct
to
it.
get out of work.
I would direct any shit movie. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I would like to think, and I've never directed a movie, so what do I know? But I'd like to think that I even would interject something. I mean,
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino famously said, "If you truly love movies, you can't help but make a good movie." I always like that quote. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll direct something. Maybe I'll
It's
direct
easier
fucking.
for someone like Quentin Tarantino to say that.
Yeah, but think
He's
about where he
naturally
started,
gifted.
man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. I don't see now that I don't agree with. I don't believe in natural
Oh,
talent.
you think he's a ripoff artist?
No, 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 not at all. I
A
think
lot
that
of
you.
people do. That's why I'm asking.
I no, I think he's fucking brilliant. No, I think that. Also, sidebar, and I could go on for hours about this. People that say that he's a ripoff artist, they totally. So it's like, okay, because I've seen all the movies that he rips off, right?
Yeah.
Like, watch City on Fire, the Chow Yun Fat movie, and then watch Reservoir Dogs, and you tell me that those are the same movie because it's
Yeah.
about a diamond heist. That is literally the only connecting fibers, and they all wear suits. Like, you're discrediting his direction, you're discrediting the acting, you're discrediting his dialogue. Like, those things don't exist in the original film. So
Yeah.
he takes premises, but like everybody does. Anyway, sorry.
Um,
Um, but no, what I was saying is I don't believe in natural talent. I think that he worked at it a lot and he got really good at it. Like, and I respect him for it. That's what I mean. I think I don't like the term natural because I feel like I don't. I just think everything you need to earn. Personally, that's just my
yeah.
personal opinion. But
Like
he's great
love.
because he was a guy that worked at a fucking video store and
Yeah.
became, he and then fucking became Quentin Tarantino. So let's stop the hooting and a holler and let's get to scores. I imagine they're going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, this
But
this this might be a new record low for both of us. This is just what I'm assuming. I'm expecting that.
yeah,
Uh,
uh, yeah, yeah, it's real
you
bad.
want to go first?
Sure. Um, because I know you like your points and your decimals and your
I do
fractions
love
and
them.
your fractals and all those things, all those math things. You love the math things. You want to be blanketed in math. I'm going to give this a 1.3.
1.3.
And
Okay.
honestly, I think that's too high. I kind of want to give this a 0, but I feel like nothing deserves a
You
0.
want to go into the hundredths place? You can do like a
Well,
1.25,
no,
1.
I have a little philosophy because like on my other show, we've watched movies that like barely qualify as movies that
Yeah.
still get put out, and this is at least like this is a professionally made film. Everybody, the camera's in focus. Like the actors
Yeah.
seem to know what
Let's
they're
clap it
doing.
up for the crew.
I'm
Like
just
they
saying,
make
like,
movies happen.
oh, I mean, I could show you some where you'd be like, like go watch Shark Exorcist, for example, and yeah, but it's terrible. It's a fucking awful movie. I hated it. I didn't enjoy my time with it. I felt bad for recommending it or for the show. I hated it. So yeah, 1.3. How about you, buddy?
Um, I am going to give it a point 0.8.
Oh,
This might be the worst horror film I've ever seen. Uh,
now,
I don't,
is
yeah,
this worse? Is this worse than the Winnie the Pooh movie?
the Winnie the Pooh was funny in a
Okay,
really,
all
really
right. So
bad
it
way.
is. It is
Entertaining.
actually worse. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because at least I was entertained and I was like, this is so silly. It's it keeps my attention because I
Fair.
remember I was scoring that. I'm like, I don't like it, but it's so silly. Like you
And
take your eyes off of it.
it was kind of funny at
Yeah.
times. Yeah, I get that.
This was neither scary nor funny. Well, although I did laugh at a couple things that were unintentionally funny.
Right, right.
But Yeah, this was abysmal, and I feel bad for anyone who wasted their time watching this.
Yeah, we can't stress this enough. Don't watch this fucking movie. Like, just don't waste your time.
Yeah,
Like, if you want to watch a cool alien invasion horror movie, go watch Fire in the Sky, which also isn't great, but there's one like really amazing scene, and that's the only thing anybody remembers about it anyway.
there's
Uh,
going to be like a sequel of this, and there's going to be even less dialogue and more
how could you have less dialogue?
less dialogue, more spitting, um, uh, more probing. Actually,
Yeah,
that
but
would make the movie better, to be quite honest.
like, yeah, more flying saucers.
That's true. They were saucers.
They were literal flying saucers. They
Yeah,
were they were the again 1950s, the gray aliens, the flying saucer. Like, if anything, if this movie wanted to do something, they should have made this a fucking period piece, right? Like, it should
yeah.
have been in the 50s. That would at least, I mean, again, that's not new,
Yeah,
but
when was this set? Like during? Like what time period?
I mean, I
Do you
feel like, didn't
know?
they have cell phones? Current day, I think. I don't think they ever
Okay.
explicitly stated it, but
And
I
I
don't.
don't think they ever did.
But they had, she had like there was like a modern car. There was like a Subaru or something outside. So it wasn't like olden, it wasn't in like the 50s or whatever.
Yeah.
But even that would given it something. That would have given it some kind of character, I guess. I don't know.
Was there a rotary phone, or am I thinking of a different movie?
Dude, I don't even
This
fucking.
was this is so forgettable.
I feel like, there might have been a phone. I don't. I literally don't. I watched this 2 days ago and it is
Yeah.
gone. It is gone. So
Right. Well,
yeah.
there you have it. This is the lowest rated film yet on Dead Air Horror Review.
Yeah,
So,
terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible. I
horrible.
if you like this movie, you should feel bad about yourself and
Yeah.
your choices in life that have brought
Yeah.
you to this point.
And don't tell anyone you like it. You'll just embarrass yourself.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out before we go that just because something uses a metaphor doesn't mean it's good. Like, I hate when people do that where they're just like, well, you know, the movie's a metaphor for isolation. It's like, well, no, like, 5% of it is, and then a metaphor with no like reasoning or like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Dawn of the Dead, for example. There's plenty of metaphor for zombies and how, in the fact that, like, in the beginning of that movie, like, the cops are literally just like, they're just happy to go through and fucking kill fucking poor people, and like there's a lot of like, it's almost like satire at that point. But then, like, the metaphor, the easy metaphor in that movie, that people, like, consumerism turns people into zombies, that's great because it's surrounded by a great story. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that wasn't the only thing. Like, Romero didn't fucking make that movie and go, see,
Yeah.
corporate, like, consumerism. Like, yeah, I don't know. I hate that though. That is such a thing of the modern discourse now, where it's like, people people in general seem so like media illiterate that, like, when they recognize anything as like a narrative device, they're like, see, it's good because it has a narrative device. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, no, stop, you're
Well, there's
embarrassing yourself.
a never-ending selection of movies to choose from, and the vast majority are bad. you know,
Yeah,
so we're just
I mean, there's so many movies, most of them are going to be bad. Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, there's
add
still a
it
lot
to
of
the
good ones
list.
too. There's a lot of good ones. We've watched a bunch of good ones on here.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. This made me sad. Like this.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I was like, oh, it was just, and I think the worst part about it is that, like, as soon as it's like, I got about 10 minutes in and I was like, oh God, like, this is
Oh
gonna be
boy.
bad, huh? Like,
Right. If we weren't doing this for the show, we would have bailed in the first.
why, I think we have gone over this on the show, like one of the early episodes, the TJ math for a movie. If a movie doesn't grab me in 20 minutes, I turn it off.
Yeah.
But this would have definitely not passed the TJ test. This would have been done. But anyway, that's the show, everybody. We'll
That does
figure
it.
out what we're watching next week. I'm not recommending nothing.
I mean, they can't be all winners. So you
Yeah,
don't
that's the
don't
same thing my mom said when I was born.
Hey,
So,
woo.
hey, hey. All right, everybody. That's the show. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye,
Tschüss.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.